The Congressional House taking sweeping action, unanimously passing a bill to boost Secret Service protection for presidential candidates. This the same day acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe Jr. admitted to some of the agency's failures in the first Trump assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. Questions still looming about the second attempt in Florida last Sunday. Democrat Congressman and House Intel Committee member Bera with me now. Thank you for being here, Congressman. Your colleague in the Senate, Democrat Senator Blumenthal, is really very concerned. He's been quite vocal about his concern over the past week. He made comments about the assassination attempts before Mr. Rowe's testimony and question and answer session yesterday. I just want to roll that and get your response. Roll the tape.
I am reaching the point of total outrage because the response from the Department of Homeland Security has been totally lacking. In fact, I think it's tantamount to Stonewalling in many respects. The Department of Homeland Security has to be more forthcoming, not only to me, but to the American people, and it has to do it quickly, or it will fuel the conspiracy theories that are so dangerous to our democracy, as well as undermining its own credibility.
So, Congressman, after listening to Secret Service Director yesterday, do you still share Senator Blumenthal's suspicions that there is stonewalling going on here?
Well, first, David, thanks for having me on.
My pleasure.
I'm glad that we acted swiftly as the House of Representatives in a unanimous vote to beef up Secret Service funding and protections for the presidential candidates and vice presidential candidates. I agree that there's something going on with the Secret Service. You know, that the assassination attempt 2 months ago in Butler, that was very concerning. There clearly seems to have been some breakdowns there. And then for not doing the security sweep, you know, that's concerning as well. So again, the speakers put together this bipartisan task force. I know they'll expand their investigations, and we've got to keep the candidates as well as the current president safe and secure.
But would you go as far as Senator Blumenthal to say that there's stonewalling going on?
You know, I think there's, we've gotten some information. You know, the task force is doing their work. I'll allow that they're doing internal investigations and so forth. But we've got to be transparent. If there have been breakdowns, we've got to learn from those breakdowns, and we've got to protect our elected officials.
Well, you know, Director Rowe was admitting that there was failure in Butler, Pennsylvania 2 months ago, but he was painting Sunday's assassination attempt as a complete success, even though this guy was hanging out with a long rifle for 12 hours before former President Trump hit the greens. I mean, does that sound like a full success to you?
Does not sound like success to me. If someone could be hiding in the bushes with a long rifle for 12 hours and not get discovered. Now, I'm glad the former president was safe. I'm glad that the Secret Service was able to act very quickly and no shots were fired by that assassin. But that does not sound like success to me.
And how the heck did this shooter know that Donald Trump was going to be on that course on that Sunday where he would be able to take a shot? And he was not far away. Thank God that Secret Serviceman was so sharp. He was a young, apparently a relatively new Secret Service agent, but he did his duty well. So nothing but kudos for what he did. But nevertheless, it came very close, and somehow this guy knew that Trump was going to be there when many members of the Trump team didn't know about it. How did this guy find out about it, and is that something you're looking for?
You know, that's something that the task force, again, it's bipartisan, that they will be diving into. We can guess, you know, that the former president spends a lot of time in Palm Beach. He does like to golf. So, you know, again, if that assassin was laying there for 12 hours, you know, it could have just been a lucky guess, but we should make sure there's no breaches. We should do a full, thorough investigation. And again, I second what you just said about the Secret Service agents. They did their job, but I worry about the administration at the top of the Secret Service if they're doing their due diligence.
I got to ask this very quickly, but do you think that there's any possibility of a foreign influence here, in particular Iran, because of their interest in assassination?
We've not seen any evidence. Yeah, I'm on the Intelligence Committee, and we're certainly looking into this, but we've not seen any intelligence of foreign malign influence on the assassination.
Well, Congressman, we appreciate you coming in to talk about it. Thanks very much. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Be well.